Hi Nigel. No surprise to discover you're against digital ID. Well, say no surprise. Actually, it might come as a surprise to Sarah Pushin, who previously has said that she doesn't see anything wrong with digital ID. But it's interesting, isn't it? You don't want the government getting hold of our data, yet you as an organisation are really happy for private businesses to get hold of our data. Like this tech startup investor who you're saying should have access to all the sensitive data that the councils hold to help you with Doge, even though she's got a vested interest in finding out what money goes where because she invests in the businesses that work for the councils. Turns out Doge might have been more appropriate, really, Nigel. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about that. There's a couple of things about this post that we need to address quickly. You keep calling it the Boris wave, but it's the Brexit wave, the Brexit wave that you helped to create. But also, the report that you're implying has got something to do with Labour clearly states that it's looking at immigration between June 2023 and June 2024. Well, Labour didn't actually come into government until July 2024. It's almost like you're trying to lie to the followers of your cult. With an L. Anyway, I didn't even want to talk about this. I was going to explore fully how ridiculous Andrea Jenkins sounded in this programme when basically they're all out defending you, talking about a taxi driver that told you that Sharia law was coming into London. But I would be surprised if you were actually ever in a taxi, Nigel, because you seem to have your own chauffeur-driven car. So even the construction of a taxi driver told me seems a little bit of a lie, but a lie that Andrea's happy to go out on. Like, I'm tempted to talk about your little day trip with Deputy Dick the other day to the Bank of England and how alarming it seems to be that you want your government, come the day the hell freeze is over, to be really actively involved in the Bank of England as opposed to it being a standalone institution, which it's been for a number of years. I might come back to that because there's also your member in the Senate who claimed falsely that she had cancer, but also tried to recruit people into a bit of a dodgy marketing scheme. But there's also Deputy Dick's car crash appearance on Question Time last night, when the audience were literally laughing at what he said. And then that moment when he's talking about patriotism and the flags and all great, only to discover that his own little pin badge was upside down. Now, I normally think of Dick as a bit of a buffoon, to be fair, but in the interview that he did with ITV, when they questioned him about the fact that you've got Dr. Aseem Malhotra as your health advisor, and I say that because we all heard David Bull introducing him as your health advisor at the conference. For Dick to get really quite sinister, I thought, to demand an apology from the journalist claiming it was slander. So the journalist ends up apologising because Dick is gaslighting them in real time. Like, that is just nasty, Nigel. Anyway, it's not even that I want to talk about. I mean, this is something quite interesting, isn't it? About the fact that you've already managed to damage the economy by saying you're going to deport whoever you like, basically. Like, it's no wonder that people aren't going to stick around to wait to see whether you get in so that you can deport them. But anyway, I didn't even want to talk about this. That just came into my mind. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. The fact that Nathan Gill, the former leader of Reform in Wales, incidentally, you still haven't got a new leader, has pleaded guilty for taking bribes off Russia. This Nathan Gill, your mate, which reminded me about Jim Mellon, the guy that made loads of money in Russia who introduced you to Aaron Banks. That would be the same Aaron Banks who has been a really big supporter of you, Nigel, and the same Aaron Banks that you actually set up to be the mayor of Bristol. The Aaron Banks who appears to have quite close links with Russia. The one that helped you with Brexit. And then forget about Lord Ali getting old Keir a couple of pairs of glasses. Aaron Banks gave you 45 grand. It is weird though, isn't it, Nigel, that Nathan took money from Russia to say pro-Russia propaganda in the European Parliament. I suppose like things like, "Ooh, don't poke the bear." He didn't say that. That was you that said it. Oh, my bad. Anyway, I am just posing the question, as you were.